Alright, so this is the first video of chapter number 9. I know you've missed, some of you have actually told me, oh, Mr. Allen, I miss graphing so much. Oh, I really miss it so much. And I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get to graph soon. Guess what? Here you go. We're going to graph what are called quadratics. They're going to look like this, either y equals ax squared or y is equal to ax squared plus c. Okay? We've been working with these types, ax squared plus bx plus c, and that's called the standard form. There are examples of it. We are going to work with a specific type. They're going to be called parabolas. Okay? Look at the concept of axis of symmetry. You can see that and where that falls into play. We have something called a vertex. The vertex is the point where everything kind of begins to duplicate. Okay, so it's if I were to fold this part over on top of this part, this would be the point. We saw in the previous slide about what's called the axis of symmetry. That's the line that contains the vertex. It's the one that allows us to fold it over. The vertex is either a minimum. If the parabola opens upward, it's a minimum, meaning it's the lowest point on the parabola. If it's a maximum, the parabola opens downward. It would look something like this. You see the mouse moving. It would be upside down. Okay, the vertex here is -2, -3. So I'm just finding the location of that point, and it is a minimum. That's the type of vertex that it is. Okay, so pretty straightforward, not too complicated there. Make a table of values. What are the domain and the range? The domain are the x's, the range are the y's. Okay. When we graph these, we are going to make a table. We're going to plug in some numbers. I'm going to show you something. This is 0. If I plug in a 1, I get 1/3. If I plug in a 2, I get 4/3. Now look what happens. If I plug in a -1, I also get 1/3. If I plug in a -2, I also get 4/3. So you see that we have what's called symmetry. Those numbers are the same. So really, when you think about it, we only have to do half the work. We only have to do half of it. Okay, so I'm going to draw the graph. Alright, so I know I have 0, 0. Let's do this. We're going to do this as, let's do that as 1, that is 2. Okay, so 1, 1/3 is going to be like right here. -1, 1/3. 2, 2, and then it's going to look something like that. Okay, you see how it's curved? I don't draw straight lines. That is the parabola for that x. Okay, now the domain are the x values. You notice how the arrows will continue going in this direction. So the domain are all numbers. Okay, all numbers. Okay, but the range has to be bigger than or equal to 0. See how this is the lowest y value? Every other value has to be up. I can't ever have a -y because the squared will always make it positive. Okay. So the domain and the range is just the visual. I can plug anything I want to in for x, but y will always be bigger than or equal to 0. Okay. That's going to happen a lot with these. Notice this one's going to flip because it's got a negative sign in front. Okay, then they ask us to graph these two things and see how they're related. So let's go ahead and graph. So I put in 0, 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2. I know that that's going to be 0. This one's 1, this one's 4, this one's 1, this one's 4. Now I'm going to make a table for this one. Notice I always put the same numbers in. Okay, so this is 0, that's negative 3 now. This is 1, this is negative 2, this is 2, this is 1, so this is negative 2, and this is positive 1. Then I look at the graphs. Okay, so I'm going to graph this one in blue. So there we have that one. And then write this one in orange. Okay, so this one has 0, negative 3. Well, look at that. They kind of look like the same graph. It's just this one's been moved down. See that? It's been moved down 3. Okay. Okay, I'll let you look at this word problem. They're asking you to graph it. Okay, I can show you the answer whenever you get to class. That should be a pretty good thing, but you're just plugging in numbers, okay, in all honesty. All right. And then a few for you to graph, practice. That is section number 1. Okay, so it's about graphing. We're not doing anything fancy yet. We're looking for the vertex. We're naming if it's a maximum or a minimum. We're doing all of that good stuff. And we're doing it well. Notice each time I plug in 5 numbers to graph my parabola, I have to see it move all the way around, okay? So, but if you also notice, I only did the work for 3 of them because I know I have similarities, okay? That's it. See ya.